Welcome back. This is still the weekend show. My name is Oluchi Carlos. Sincerely apologize for joining you a bit behind the shadow. David, thanks for holding on. The weather has not really been so friendly for me. Yeah,
for most people, actually, not just
yeah,
you.
a lot of people are sick. I'm a bit behind the weather. You can hear it in my voice. Hopefully next week I'll be stronger. And then if you're sick, please remember this weather. Drink a lot of water. Drink a lot of water. A lot of fruits and vegetables, especially those that contain vitamin C. It's very important. As I tell myself.
Exactly, and like I told us when we started this morning, we'll be looking at how to influence and better our society. And I told us that we'll be looking at it from innovative agriculture, innovative farming. And we have no other person to join us to look at transitioning into coconut farming this morning than a Toronto, Canada Bay trained farmer. He pioneered the revolutionary innovation of yam sack in bags, aqua geoponics. He's with us here in the studio. He is Ichie Sonny Obichukwu, a coconut and soap farmer, and also the CEO of Fairworld Oil and Farms in Omunachi. Good morning and welcome to the studio.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
So Ichie, let's break it down. I think it was last year or early this year, it was viral, your yam in sack bags. Everybody was keen in. I think I even saw a documentary on it from a TV station in China or something. Yes. You really made us proud. So now we're talking about you also pioneering the coconut economy. Why coconut? Because I know, sorry, why I asked why coconut is, yam, I did ask why yam because it was I couldn't think of it. Now coconut is something we underestimate. Apart from to use coconut chop corn, maybe cook coconut rice, and maybe coconut oil. A lot of people don't really see coconut as something that has that wealth in it. So how did you think of it? Why coconut?
Okay, thank you. We all know that coconut oil is quite expensive. We know that a liter of red oil is about 750 naira. While a liter of coconut oil is about 3,000 naira and above. So we also know the price of crude oil. So we know that the price of coconut oil is far higher than price of crude oil. So it makes so much sense to delve into coconut economy because of the export potentials of the coconut oils.
Now, talking about that export potential, some of us, like you mentioned, when you talk about coconut and coconut farming in general, you know it's a long span agriculture. Why is it an area that we believe if we delve into, it can also yield benefits as any other aspect of agriculture?
We also have to think long term. So if you are investing in coconut, you're also thinking long term. But it's also a sustainable one.
Okay.
Yes, because once those once those trees start producing nuts, so you keep making money out of it for another 92 to 95 years. So it's a very long term and sustainable way of making money. So I think coconut economy is a very potential one for the state.
So is there something new you're also doing in that coconut farming, like you did in yam? Is there something new in the planting that you want us to hear about or you're exploring already?
Yes. What we are doing there now, we know the spacing of coconuts, all right? So, but we also know for sure that if the plants are very close, all right, they produce the same yield. So for a very long time now, in agrarian, other people are saying that if you space trees out so much, that is when they produce high yield.
Yeah.
So, but the innovation we have brought into this is what we call a double row system. So in this double row system, so it's a way of maximizing land, the usage of land, all right? So where in a smaller portion of land, you can have as many as possible coconut trees. All right. So for example, I know that for 200 plus of land, we can grow about 2,000 coconut trees. So, but also I also know for sure that in 100 plots we can also do the same 200. All right. So and we can
the
achieve
same 2,000.
The same 2,000. We can do the same 2,000 in 100 plots. So the reason for that is because of this our innovative double row system. So this double row system is the way to go because in a society where you don't have land, you don't have much land. Yes.
Because that will also even is the dimension of the next question I want to ask. How do you close this gap of land system, especially in a place like Anambra, where we have that land resource challenge?
I think agriculture has gone beyond the size of land you have.
Okay.
All right. We have smart systems now. We have innovative systems now. So, because we've been in this fossil oil thing for a long time, so that deprived us the knowledge of how agriculture works, how healthy soils work. So we'll think that if you space, for example, in coconuts, so we'll think that if you space them so much, they will produce high yield. So without knowing for a long time that if you can also bring those trees closer, all right, because what really matters here is the pollination of the plants, all right, and the photosynthesis, isn't it? All right, so if they are planted at the same time and you apply the double row system, so it will still do well, like when you are planting in a massive land. So it's no longer about the size of the land.
Okay, so I'd like to look at the coconut business itself. Is it just the oil?
No. There are over 30-something byproducts of coconut.
30-something?
Yes.
Because I used to waste coconut.
In coconut. So, but the most expensive one there now will be the oil.
Okay.
All right. Even the nuts itself. So imagine you have 2,000 trees of coconut, and then each of them are producing like 340. If you times 340 by 2,000, that gives you about 680,000 nuts. All right. So imagine you are selling them 200 naira each. That's about 136 million. All right. So there's so much money to be made, even in the nut itself, without adding value. But when you add value to it, so you make so much more.
Okay, so all right. I'd like to know. Most times we'll ask, how can the government key in? But I would like to know, how can a private individual key in? Coconut business, is this something you just? How long? What's the duration like before you start yielding your profits?
Okay, so now the gestation period of coconut is 4.5 years.
4.5.
4.5 years before they start fruiting. Okay. So once they start fruiting, they will fruit for another 92 years. All right, so
92 years.
Yeah, 92 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's worth it.
Yes, but is there? We always like this kind of shortcuts. Is there a way, or is there also an innovation that one can get those results even below the 4.5 years? Is it possible?
Well, we don't want to play with the nature.
Okay.
So we want to allow things to roll out the way they should roll out.
Okay. Now, talking about the cost effectiveness of investing in that area, how can someone, is it something that someone can do out of pocket, or you must need a government loan, or you must have to pool resources? Is it something you can do on your own? Is it something that is promising for maybe even an upcoming farmer?
Yes, it is. But you see, most of the challenges we have here is that we don't really have government help. Okay. All right, when it comes to big investment like coconut farming. So our farm, we've been farming coconut now for 3 years now. All right, so basically we are the first, I will say, I'm not sure, but I'm very quite sure that we are almost the first coconut farm in Anambra State here. So how government will now help is there are models which government can follow. And now partners with, if they can partner with already existing coconut farms, all right, and then government can also provide maybe certificate of occupancy to some farms so that they can access funds. So where government cannot afford to give out the money to them. Okay. So give them certificate of occupancy, let them go and access funding by themselves. I know in Ogun State, in other states like Ekiti and so. So I think their government are doing that. I'm not too sure about the state, but I know somewhere in the West,
yeah.
they are giving farmers the certificate of occupancy to access funds.
Now, talking about the emphasis the present government of Soludo has also laid on this coconut farming and palms as well. What are the kind of partnerships you are looking forward to happen? What new dimension? You mentioned the area of certificate of occupancy, provision of those. But what are the kind of policies you expect that if government comes up with, it can encourage people who are already investing in that area in the state?
Yes, government can partner with already existing coconut farms, all right, and expand them, all right? So fund them for expansion, because we know that if government will establish their own coconut farm, they will not operate it well. So we know for sure that anything that government operates here, it hasn't been done very well in the past. So we know if they partner with the already existing coconut farmers and then expand them, government can now arrange the sharing ratio where government will have some percentage of whatever amount the farmers are making, either through the nuts or through the selling of the nuts. All right, I'm on a ratio of probably 60-40 or 30-70. All right, so while the farmers will now maintain the farm, but government will be the one to establish the coconut plantations for the farmer.
I have a question here. The person wants to know if you invest in this coconut farming, what about the processing of the oil? How do you do that? Do you need specific machine in order to do it in large scale, or you can do it on your own large scale? You
can either do it in a small scale or large scale. All right, so we would rather prefer that we do something huge. First of all, this is going to be 2 stages now. Okay. Stage 1 will be planting of the nuts first. Okay. So while we are planting the nuts, government will now focus on building a coconut oil extraction factory. So while we are now focusing on planting of more coconuts, the raw materials, so that should be the focus now. But the coconut processing plant will be a long-term something.
All right.
Have you really seen this succeed somewhere else? You know, I don't know. Nigerians, we believe that we have motivational speech every day, and someday somebody can just wake up and say, pepper is the new million, pepper is the new million. The next day somebody says, it's turmeric, it's turmeric. Yeah. So people want to know, you now being an international farmer, I know you've traveled, you're wild traveled. Have you seen coconut work like this? Have you seen coconuts make millions? Have you seen this coconut economy in progress?
Yes, I know in Philippines. I also know in India. That is the highest revenue they are receiving through coconuts.
Wow.
All right. So I also know that in Western world, like North America and Europe, they don't produce these things because coconut does not do well in cold weather. It does very well in tropicals.
Okay.
So and they depend on tropical countries for their coconut oil. So and the prices of coconut oils are quite expensive in shops. In Canada, for example, and America.
Do people really use coconut oil? What's it used for? I'm a lady, I already know some of the uses we do, but why you make it sound like coconut oil is in demand. But I know a lot of people will be wondering, why go for expensive coconut oil when groundnut oil is cheaper? So that's why I want to know, why coconut oil? Okay, what's so special about coconut oil?
So here you missed the point. The thing is this. In chocolate, for example, chocolate is already a 22 billion industry in America.
Okay.
All right? And they depend on coconut oil to produce chocolate.
So if you're taking chocolate, you automatically...
Of course. Of course. It's a vital ingredient in the production of chocolate. Okay. So also we have coconut oils, we have coconut yogurt, we have coconut milk, we have coconut sugar. There are so many things you can produce out of coconuts. So it's a viable investment.
All right. OK is waiting for us on the streets to get people's reactions on this topic. When we come back, we'll still be talking more on how we can safely transit to this coconut economy and benefit from it as people in Anambra as well as the country in general. Join us.
There is an overdependence of the Nigerian economy on the crude oil sector. People are beginning to ask if coconut oil can replace the crude oil. Welcome to another edition of the Street Worker segment on ABS Television. Today we are at the streets of Awka. We are here to find out what the people think on the overdependence of the Nigerian economy on the crude oil, and if they think that the coconut oil can replace the crude oil. My name is Ogechukwu Azubike. Let's go find out.
When you depend on the mono economy, where you have one only source of income, definitely you will suffer. So there is need for us to diversify, which I think to a greater extent they are trying in terms of agric, because agric is the only thing that can save us. If you have an agric, you feed your people, it brings money too. The only way out is make our agriculture feasible and realistic. When you talk of agric, there are byproducts. When you have a lot of agri products, you can use it in medicine, you can export it. That's the way I see the only feasible. When you talk of industry, it requires raw materials, and agri provides it. So that's the essence of agri. When you have a good agricultural policy, not only policy, implement it. Apart from education and health, agri takes a long chunk of investment. So if the government can say, okay, 20-30% goes to agri, it will rejig the economy and make people happy. Because when you feed, you are feeling very well, it makes you happy.
Twice we depend on your basaloy. When to was Obia in a tina mana. And was the boss, I say, me, and Yaka, like even though the Tinaka, I could see Tute, Nola, Kolowa Keseba, when you're on the Madaka, Kakonoba, where you're in the carrier, where Lutonia Bonaka. So on the Nyan so wouldn't also not so by on ya, no get do. Coconut oil is a very big something, no Nuki call. Gabalum Aibom Maduru, Mana Health, Manarican, Oge Yeranya Karine, Oge Meku, Enwe Agamnero, na economy. Akota go pasara agriculture the very important all dem gbadi nne na ga ne beri anya. Government enya aka ndị anwụ na-akọ ọrụ ugbo asọpa akwadowe enwe ego nwee ike ịlụ karịa ka ndị wedi n'obodo maka agụ na-enye nsogbu n'obodo a. Eni dị ka enwe nri nyafu n'obodo a.
The problem of oil in Nigeria is that it was not quite long that Nigeria discovered that oil is marketable in the world market. You see, Nigeria have many revenue that they have there, like coal in Enugu, limestone, many other mineral resources like palm kernel exportation and other resources. But today, Nigeria capitalizes only in oil, as if oil is the only revenue that can fetch Nigeria money. And that is worsening the situation of the Nigerian economical growth. If Nigeria can recycle themselves, all this revenue, all those mineral resources, they bring them, and we start harvesting from there, we will generate a lot of income.
Onwere ebe ndị ọzọ anyị ga-enebanye anya karịchasịa ihe dị ka olu ugbo bụ ebe bara nnukwu uru ọ ga-abụ mmarụ n'ebe a ka ndị be anyị n'obuwa na-eme ọtụtụ ihe dị iche iche, mana anyị negherere anya maka gịnị na anyị na-agbaso ego mmanụ na ego ka wee bụ ibu ebe anwa. So ihe a bụ nsogbu anyị nwere taa n'ala anyị bụ Naịjirịa, ma ekpere m bụ na ndị mmadụ ga-anachi ihe n'olu ugbo. Anyị nwa na onwe anyị bụ ndị kwenyesiri ike na ọsọsọ mmanụ anyị abịa ihe a ga-eji wee dozie ebe anyị bụzi alụ ndị a na-enwere ike idozibe anyị. Ị na-anya taa ịfụ na ụgwọ Naịjirịa ji na-abawanye. Anyị kwesịrị ị na-eme export coconut oil maka gịnị na anyị nwere ya n'ebe o buru ibu, and ọ bụkwa nna anyị etinye mmasị na ya rie nne, anyị ga-enwe karịa ka anyị nwere ya, na anyị ga-enwe nke ga-ezulu anyị, nwekwe nke ndị anyị ga-elesikwa ndị mba ofesi.
Finally, from the streets, we can see that the residents of Awka does not support the overdependence of the Nigerian economy on the oil sector. Some of them even suggest that the government should invest on the agricultural sector. To be specific, the coconut oil. They believe it should be able to compete with or overtake the crude oil. We've come to the end of the Street Talker segment on ABS Television. Remember, I am Ogechukwu Azubike. Let's go back to the studio to Oluchi and David.
All right, you're welcome back to the show. It's still the weekend show, and this morning we're looking at transitioning to coconut economy, and we have with us here an innovative farmer, Ichie Sonny Obichukwu. Good morning and welcome again.
Thank you.
So, Sonny, from the streets, we saw people looking at transitioning from the oil economy. And some people say, well, if we go into, someone said, if we go into farming, we will find a lot of other things to transition to. You've brought the yam, now you bring in the coconut. So what's your advice to the Nigerian government, especially as we face this new, or let me say, okay, the coming elections? What do you, how can you convince the government to look into farming, or do you just want them to look into coconut? Or do you think just like coconut, there are other aspects that can be milked from agriculture?
Yes. See, the truth is this. If the government focuses on agriculture and industry and are frugal in their spending, we will have definitely prosperous and livable homeland, like Professor Soludo would say it. All right. So, in agriculture, even before the oil, there were agrarians everywhere who were deriving our money from agriculture until we found oil.
Oh, okay, sorry, because of time, just briefly, I would like to ask, if somebody really wants to learn, are you willing to teach? Because that's it. If there are no teachers, there are no students. If somebody really wants to learn and tap into this coconut farming, are you willing to teach?
Yes, why not? That's what we do. We've been teaching people how to do yams in sacks and also coconuts. So, and we established plantations also for people.
Maybe one of these days we'll visit your farm and then we'll talk about the learning process.
Yes.
Okay, so because of the lack of time, that is how far we'll be taking on this discussion. But don't worry, Ichie Sonny Obichukwu will be back to tell us about his training subsequently and to tell us how we can key into this coconut economy. And remember that our guest this morning has been Ichie Sonny Obichukwu. He's a coconut and soil shop farmer. He's also the CEO Fairworld Oil Farms Limited in Omonachi. He's a Toronto, Canada-based farmer. He was actually the person that innovated the yam in sack bags, acroponics, and the innovation went wild. We're hoping that this coconut economy will also go wild.
Yes, and that is our expectation.
And people will hear that it started from here.
Thank you very much, Ichie
Obichukwu,
for joining us on the show this morning. Let's now take you over to our news studio for breakfast news at 8. Stay with us.